A hand gesture gets a 12-year-old girl arrested at school.
Fox 5 legal analyst Wendy Patrick breaking down this case for us. Wendy, good morning.
Good morning.
What's this all about? A hand gesture. What happened?
Yeah.
Well, it was the formation of a finger pistol. Now, Raul and Chris, have you heard of a finger pistol? This is a gesture in schools where a student conveys a threat. That's what she was arrested for, was making a threat.
Wow.
So the circumstances surrounding this case really have gotten a lot of national attention because it's a sign of the times. On the one hand, you have a zero tolerance policy towards making any kind of a threat on a school campus. On the other, when you have young children, there are some that really want to strike a balance between when do you choose between hand holding and handcuffs, as was done in this case.
Yeah.
So this is, is it a case of counseling or is it a case of custody? There's more to the story, Chris and Raul, and that's what we wish we're going to learn more about sooner rather than later. There's a court hearing today, but again, some of this is confidential because we're talking about a now 13-year-old girl.
Sure.
So but she was arrested for a threat, right? A threat that was made. Was she pointing her hands at somebody specific, or was she just, I don't know, just pointing it up in the air? Does it matter?
Sort of. It does matter, Chris, but it was in between the two, and accordingly, she was, I guess, and this is the thing with these, you wish you knew more of the facts that have been verified, but what's been reported, and this, by the way, is a case in Kansas, not in California. What's been reported is she was asked a question about who would you like to kill, and then pointed a finger pistol at 5 students. Now, here's why this became an issue. This school has a bully reporting tip line, and this threat was reported by more than one student through the tip line.
Wow.
So it's one of those cases where when you first hear about it, you kind of think, wait a minute, what? But then as you begin to learn more facts and circumstances, not only do you want to know more, but you also want to learn more about how do we deal with scenarios like this where other students are afraid? Look, they've just gone back to school in the wake of a couple more mass shootings over the summer. This is not an easy time to be a teenager, that's for sure.
So this girl got arrested, not suspended for doing this?
Right.
Good question, Raul, because we've all talked, and I think we've talked about it on the show, about other children from other jurisdictions that were suspended. Remember the infamous Baltimore Pop-Tart case?
That's right.
The pastry gun, where a boy chewed a pastry into the shape of a gun and pointed it and was suspended. But he wasn't arrested. Why the arrest here? That's why I say.
Yeah, what was the crime specifically here? Because it seems to me like it was a lot more than just pointing a finger pistol at a person. Maybe the words conveyed had something to do with it. And also, who's the kid who asked her the 5 people you would kill? What about that kid?
That's right. And according to the mom, there was some bullying involved. And again, we don't know all the facts, but let me also tell you, this not only was an arrest, but a felony charge by the local district attorney.
Wow.
So that's why I say you can imagine there is more to the story. And as those facts come out, maybe some of the initial reaction will be tempered. Maybe we'll understand a little more, or maybe not. It's one of those cases we have to analyze because, like I say, sign of the times, and it's going to happen again.
It makes me wonder if this would have been any different if it maybe was not on campus.
Good question, Chris. There have been instances where neighbors have pointed finger pistols at each other and also been arrested if accompanied by a threat or if in context it's perceived as a threat. So you have to look at the surrounding circumstances because at least in this jurisdiction, bringing an actual weapon to school, if it's not used in a threat, would have been a less serious crime. Counterintuitive until you consider it's the threatening aspect of it that, at least under these laws in Kansas, made it more serious.
See, I wonder if in that case you mentioned of the neighbor with the pistol, is it just, the law is what it is, where maybe you don't have to say the words, but intent and how you point it and the look on your face, all these subtleties really add to, you didn't maybe have to say any words, but the intent and the way you point that gun is enough to define a threat?
And you don't think you learned a little bit in law school. You did, and you've just broken
I watched
down
LA Law a lot too.
You've
so
just broken down the analysis that one would go through in deciding what do we do with a case like this? Was it an innocuous gesture? Was it an accident? Or was it combined with threatening words or conduct so that other students were in fear? That was apparently the case here, but again, as more facts come out, hopefully we'll revisit it because it's a significant case.
Is this going to set some precedent that we don't already have?
It actually, there is already precedent of finger pistols being pointed by students as young as 10 across the nation. So they actually had that precedent to work with. Now we'll have this as we figure out what's going to happen in court. Today, as a matter of fact, there's a hearing.
It's the times we live in. What are you going to do? Because if this happens, and then, God forbid, there happens to be the student comes back and actually does something violent, everybody's going to get on the school district and say, hey, that kid threatened with the
Err on the side of caution. That's exactly why we have cases like this.
That's kind of sad all around. Wendy Patrick,
Wendy,
thank you so
thank
much.
you.
Thank you.